It's Aloha Friday, 8:49. We started today at 5 o'clock. Came in, we did the big box transfer from Ala Moana down to Salt Lake, and then stood by, offload, reload, and then brought that dunnage can to the shipping terminal. Now we've come next door to the other shipping terminal to pick up this full 40-foot container full of household goods and furniture. Of the day, we're taking it over to Kailua, an area known as, I think it's called Aikahi. I should know. My sister-in-law's parents had a home there when they were alive. I think it's called Aikahi. I think the neighborhood was basically military housing. It was built as military housing back during World War II for the Kailua Marine Corps base. And then when the war was over, the military sold it off to private citizens. And first in line, I think, were public servants. Because my sister-in-law's parents, the dad was a police officer. Today the neighborhood is really nice, but it's a very old neighborhood. Most of the homes are single family, single level, ranch style houses, but on big lots. How nice is the neighborhood? This is the neighborhood where Barack Obama spent his Christmas vacations here in Hawaii. So that's where we're headed. So yeah, everything went smooth there. We got it out gated, 15,000 pounds shipping weight, so 7 tons of furniture. So these homes that were originally sold to the public for, I want to say $20,000, today are worth about $3 to $4 million. Right on the back, we gotta make our way over the DOT scale. This is the WIM scale right here, weigh in motion scale. It tells the guys inside that we're very light, but they want to weigh us anyway, so maybe the weigh in motion scale doesn't really work. home, well, it takes a few years. Population grows and grows and grows. And then the actual homes get upgraded over and over and over and over. And I would say this neighborhood we're going to now, more than half the homes aren't even individually owned. They're more than likely corporately owned and then rented out to the individuals that work for that corporation. That's how a lot of this is done in Hawaii nowadays. Because I don't have a name of a person, I have a name of a company on my paperwork. But now we got to give them a call. Let them know we're coming because, like I say, this is a pretty nice neighborhood. They want to know everything about everything. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be interesting when we get there because this is built back before there were really sidewalks, unless they put sidewalks in. So the lawns come right up to the road. And then usually they don't want you driving on the grass. And if they do want you driving on the grass, a lot of times you don't want to drive on the neighbor's grass. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. Also, keep an eye out for low wires. Old neighborhoods always have low wires. So we'll give them a call and see what they're ready for. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's what I think it is. I got a hold of everybody because that's their job. You have these people that handle these properties. They're usually young kids in their 20s, you know, property management you might call it. And you can always get a hold of them, but they're never there. They're always out doing something. My contact person's got to call his contact person. That contact person's supposed to meet me there. And they said, be careful, don't run on anybody's grass. So it sounds like fun, but I looked at it on the map. It looks like a really easy delivery. We shouldn't have any problems at all. But yeah, this is one of those runs where you get the address and you go, have you ever heard of this road? No, I've never heard of this road. Then you look it up and go, well, that's why we've never heard of it. It's, you know, a residential community that we never go to unless you're doing construction. But we're going to make our way up onto the interstate. Take the H1 to the H2. Take the, not the H2, the H3. Take the H3 up and over the islands. And just before you get to the end, there's an exit that takes you into Aikahi. So it's a pretty easy run. We should be there in about half an hour. Easy peasy. Yeah, it looks like people have been parking their cars in that grass because the wheels didn't sink in too bad. So yeah, this is that neighborhood. I don't know if it was built by the military or right after the military. You know, Levittown projects were kind of popular in the day when this neighborhood was developed. So all the homes are almost identical. But over the years, I don't think you could find a home in this neighborhood for under $3 million. Again, they were built back in the right after World War II, so 40s, 50s. And most of these homes, original owners, they know they got a good deal and they've been living the good life. Got in when the price was right. I remember talking to my sister-in-law's dad. We used to have conversations because he lived on the other side of the road here. Not quite as nice, but still nice. He was talking about how his monthly payment of $200 a month. back in the day, this is back in their late 50s. He said, man, we struggled to make that payment. about that neighborhood. Yeah, we delivered that, what's it called again? Beach America. So, 9:30 and long side work. Yeah. I got a pickup from, right. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna head over to the Kapa'a Quarry industrial area where there's a canoe builder. They build the long, skinny, ocean-going outrigging canoes. They're like, they export them all over the world. Good quality stuff. But every now and then they'll load up a container load and send it to a mainland distributor. I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, this is Kailua. Little beach town. Hello? 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 I think I got butt dialed. So yeah, you never know it, but the houses here on the left are all waterfront homes. There's a canal right behind them. Actually, not there. Here. But your front yard is this noisy road. If I could afford it, I'd probably live in Kailua, but the reason I like Kailua is that there's so many single-level homes. I prefer a single-level home. Another thing about Kailua, it gets so much rain you don't even need to put a sprinkler system in your yard because it'll get more than enough water. You're on the windward side. I just realized this isn't where I want to make my left. It's the next left. Any day now. The reason he wasn't moving is because a minor bird had landed on his rear view mirror on the passenger side. He was watching that bird. Didn't realize his light turned green. This is windows this morning too. Now they're all spotted again. Quarry on the island is located right here on this road. It's been a while since I've done this run, but it should be off to the left here somewhere. But maybe they moved. I think it was back during COVID is when they moved. Let me just double check, make sure. Yeah. Complex, but they're over in this yellow building here. Because there's another container there now. I wonder if that container was there when they brought it in.
It was not.
Let me go take a look at that and talk to him. And
I don't think it was
yeah. Almost lunch. So it's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Working on the 5th movement of the day. So we dropped off the full in the fancy neighborhood, then we ran over to get the outrigger canoes from the super nice ocean canoe manufacturer. But it took us like 40 minutes to get that container out. It was really tight. But we got it back to the shipping terminal before they closed for lunch on Fridays. And then they gave me a big box container to pick up to bring back to our terminal. When I hooked up to it, the landing gear was broken. I couldn't get the landing gear cranked up. By that time, the shipping terminal had closed for lunch, so can't flip it if there's nobody there. They don't come back till 1. So a little housekeeping work. We came back to our terminal and hooked up to this empty 45-foot container. Is it 45? Yeah. And we're going to take this up to the Mililani Tech Park, to where the big box has their distribution warehouse. That way they can load it up and then it gets delivered to one of the big boxes tonight. I think that's the plan. So what I would call a good, easy run. From here up to there, it's about 21 miles. And it is hot today. I don't drink all my water for sure. My windows are dirty, but I think it's gonna probably rain a little bit when we go up there. So if it doesn't, we'll wash the windows after we make the delivery. So yesterday when we were at the Hickam Air Force Base, one of the ladies that was offloading the trailer was saying, well, if you had a choice to do it again, would you still come to Hawaii? And I said, absolutely. I love Hawaii. And, you know, if I leave Hawaii, it's going to be fighting and screaming all the way. But I just think I can outsmart the system as far as, you know, stay out of everybody's way and just do what everybody else is not doing. Try to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. That way. But is Hawaii for everyone? Absolutely not. I mean, like I said, to get ahead in Hawaii, you gotta put some effort into it. And Hawaii is in trouble right now because for the last 7 years, they've been losing about 1% of the population every year. So I don't know what that is. It's somewhere around, it's over 10,000 people a year leaving Hawaii. Of course, that leaves a shortage of manpower, which has always been the case. I remember when I moved to Hawaii. I moved to Hawaii in 1987, and there was so much construction going on, and the tourist industry was just pounding. It was so busy, and you know, it was one of the fastest growing big cities in the United States at the time. That was 40 years ago. Last 7 years, people have been leaving, slowly dying. Of course, I think that could change instantly with just new management. I always blame management, you know. People always say, oh, the kids don't want to work today. Yeah, well, don't want to work for you, you know. I always blame management. Being a person on the front line working, people aren't working. There's a reason. You've made it so difficult that they don't want to participate. I think one of the problems is when you look at the leadership of Hawaii, they're my age. Remember when I came to Hawaii, in Waikiki alone, there were 14 sky cranes working, building hotels and condos. 14 just in Waikiki alone. You know, they called it the state bird at the time. That was the joke of the tour buses. You know, our state bird, sky crane, because everywhere you looked, there were sky cranes at work. You know, the tourist industry was just unbelievable at that time. I think the average room back in those days was, I want to say, between $40 and $60 a night in Waikiki. Average room in Waikiki today is $500. And so they say it just happened just recently in the last 5 years. For the first time, there's more people living in Hawaii. Well, the outer islands, this has been this way for a long time, but on this island, where most of the people live, first time that the majority of the people living in Hawaii were not born in Hawaii. In other words, and the reason that's happened is because so many of the people that were born in Hawaii have left Hawaii. And just recently, within the last 7 years, you know, that when you go out and do the survey, you interview me, were you born in Hawaii? No, but I plan to die in Hawaii. They should ask both questions, you know. Were you born? You know. Do you plan to die here? Yes. I can go right now and show you where I'll be buried. Already picked the spot. So yeah, it takes a certain attitude, I think. And I just look at my brother, my nieces have all left. And one of the big shortages in Hawaii is teachers and nurses. And one of my nieces is a teacher and the other one is a nurse. And they're still in their 20s and they both own property now in the mainland because they couldn't afford it here in Hawaii. So, yeah. If you ask me what do I think needs to be changed? Probably, I think what needs to be changed is people need to do something. Hawaii has gotten so lazy as far as they don't do anything. Got a homeless problem? Next year it's even worse. Next year it's even worse. They haven't done anything. Got a graffiti problem? Next year it's even worse. It's just like they're not doing anything because they're afraid that if they do something, somebody's going to say something, and then there'll be people that don't like them. You know, there's no backbone sort of in the leadership. They do nothing. Still, I ain't leaving. No way. But that's, you know, somebody who's lived here most of their life. That's just my viewpoint. As a truck driver, I'm, you know, blue collar all the way. I don't make a lot of money, but I know how to spend my money very wisely. And that's half the trick in Hawaii. You can't come here and just spend everything you make. You gotta invest. I did a lot of investing when I was younger and more eager. Now I'm just trying to take care of my health and not wear myself out. Because this is not a job for a 60-year-old, and there's a lot of 60-year-olds doing it. Because mostly because they enjoy it, not because the money's that great. So that's my rant for the day. Come back tomorrow, maybe I'll say some more. But we're headed out to the Mililani Tech Park. As soon as we get off of Nimitz here, get up onto the interstate, you know, it's free sailing. We'll be there in about 25 minutes. Well, first there was a bang, and then there was like a pow, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I looked behind, and the recap on my tire came off. What some people call the alligator strips. this happened like 2 weeks ago with the same axle. Still got air in it. Took out the quarter fender. That's laying on the road somewhere. And I just replaced it. Because last week, or the week before, when this same tire blew, it destroyed the quarter fender. So we're just trying to stay cool until the truck shows up. Usually takes them about an hour to get to where you're at, and then another 15 minutes or so to 15-20 minutes to change the tire. But we dropped off our empty up at the Mililani distribution warehouse for the big box, and then we're bobtailing back into town to go to a shipping terminal to pick up a container to take back to our yard that's going to be delivered first thing Monday morning. So it's 1:23 now. They're open till 3. Today's Friday, so they're open till 3. Or is it 3:30? So see if we can still get that done or not. In the meantime, we wait. So we got the tire fixed. It's 2:54. Made our way back to the shipping terminal, Sand Island. Picked up this full 40-foot container with 54,000 pounds of consolidated freight, one of our LTLs. I think they were waiting to bring it out later on in the day because it's heavy. 57,000 is the most I can carry legally, but at anything over 50,000, if it shifts in shipment, your weight can get transferred to either the rear or front tandems. You can also get a ticket that way too. So just to be safe, we try to avoid the scale when it's open with these heavy cans. Plus it gives the night crew something to do. But it's Friday and everybody's out on the road getting ready to go home. 3 o'clock is kind of when the rush hour starts. It's 5:02. That's it, we've shut it down. We're all done. We came in at 5, we'll be out of here by 3:30. We did 6 container movements, we drove 119 miles. We spent almost an hour trying to dig one container out of a yard over in the Kapa'a Quarry industrial area. And then we got a flat tire. So we had a few setbacks. And then the big box in the morning, you wait for an hour. So that's how the cookie crumbled. Checked in with dispatch. We got 1, 2, 3 containers here in the yard going into the Inter Island Shipping Terminal tomorrow. They don't open till 8, so we'll probably come in around 7:30. Do those 3 containers, 2 hours of work maybe. And then back on Saturday, we got a full crew bringing the LTLs in. But other than that, we're headed home. Rush hour traffic. We ended up making, well, we made that wonton stir fry last night. It was good. And then we were gonna have this breaded Pacific cod from Costco. I I tried a piece while we were walking around Costco the other day. It was really good. So hopefully it's good. It's one of their staples. It's a Kirkland brand. So I've seen it, and the price was right. So we got it. That's what's for dinner: fish, salad, rice, beans. That's good enough for me. That's it for today, though. Thanks for watching. Aloha.